Hello, Aquarius, and welcome to March 2020. Okay, this is an extremely powerful month. It's vivid, technicolor wildness. The big news, other than the fact that Mercury will be in your sign at the beginning of this month, it enters into your sign on the 4th, retrogrades through your sign a little bit until the 10th, and then starts moving forward in your sign again. You'll get a little taste of that self-review, just a taste. But the other big thing, it's much bigger than Mercury doing a little mini retrograde back through you, is that Saturn is moving into your sign this month. How do y'all feel about that? I'm excited. I'm very excited on the collective level. We are so ready for Saturn to be doing different work. Now, this is one of your original rulers. Until Uranus came into the picture a few hundred years ago, Saturn was your ruler and still is a co-ruler for you. But Saturn works so differently in your sign than it does in Capricorn. We've been working with Saturn in Capricorn since December 2017, and that's been really important. The last 2 years, we have all stripped back to who we want to be. We've done some really deep work, especially because Pluto's also been there with us, and the South Node has been with us this last year or so. But I think we've all kind of, especially after that eclipse season in December and January, it's like, okay, we've done something really powerful there in the underground. Now, bringing Saturn into your sign, this airy, freedom-seeking, revolutionary energy means innovation. Now, of course, on the collective, that's great. What does that mean for you? Well, one thing to kind of think about as we move through March, and as we keep in mind that this big shift is happening, is that you've been working with Saturn in the sign right before you, right, for over 2 years. And if you're Aquarius rising especially, but really if you're sun and moon as well, this means you're working with this very hidden, secretive placement in the 12th house with Saturn there, which means you've been having to do a lot of internal hidden work when it comes to structure, when it comes to thoughts, when it comes to habit. There's some deep lessons that come from Saturn in the 12th house. And I almost feel like Saturn coming into your sign is a little bit more liberating. We're not having to do the work on that hidden level. Now you're going to be noticing that Saturn is working with you and how you want to put your energy into the world. It's going to ask you that question. How do you want to put your energy into the world? What do you want that to look like? How do you want that to shift now that we have this new transit? I think with Saturn in Aquarius, it is all about distinction and discernment, making clear choices about how you want to revolutionize and really curating where you put that revolutionary lightning strike, right? And here's what I will also say. It's going into Aquarius. We're going to have this for a few months, but then Aquarius is going to start going retrograde in a couple of months from now, and then is going to go back to Capricorn and hang out in Capricorn until pretty much the end of the year. So we're getting a preview of Saturn in Aquarius. We're getting the first chunk of this wisdom, this idea that we can revolutionize our structures. We can revolutionize the way we do things, right? And this is huge for you guys because it does mean freedom via choosing structures that serve you rather than sabotage you or hold you back. But, we're only getting the first taste of this because then, of course, we're gonna go back to our Saturn in Capricorn and check in with some stuff before we get into the full swing of it next year. But, so this is a really important month to just see, right? To just start to see, to get the infusion of information. Now, Saturn doesn't enter Aquarius until the 22nd. So before that, what do we have going on? Well, we have the Mercury stationing direct in your sign. That's also big because it's boosting you once again into remembering you have sovereignty. So even when you are maybe going deep internal, when you are having to do a self-review, it doesn't mean you're stopped, you're stuck. It just means you're taking a moment to detach from any thoughts or patterns that aren't serving you, checking them out, and moving forward. We also have Venus moving into your 4th house, into Taurus, into that home and family. That's going to be a really ooey gooey transit for you this month. We have a full moon in Virgo in your 8th house, which is pretty powerful because that is the little death of self, right? A full moon is going to illuminate. And I think poetically, this is happening on the 9th, right before Mercury stations direct in your sign. So poetically, you can kind of think about that full moon as letting go and releasing what you've been working on the last couple of years, what's been really heavy or anything that's coming to a conclusion from those 2 years of learning. You can kind of take a moment, connect with that, release it, right? We have and then of course, we have the equinox too. So this is really powerful. We're starting a new Western astrological year with Pisces, the ascension, the death, and then the rebirth into Aries. That idea of the green man being cut down and reborn as a young sprig, which is often normally tied to actually May Day, but the spring icons are always kind of powerful. And of course, if you're in the Southern Hemisphere, you're having that shift as well into transformation in a different way. So we have the equinox, we have the energy moving into Aries, moving into your 3rd house of communication, a new moon in Aries. Mars enters your sign at the end of the month, and then Mars goes conjunct with Saturn on the very last day of March. So boom, visionary energy. Let's see what's coming out here. 2 of Wands, Ace of Swords. I love that. Oh, I love that. Clarity of insight there is so sharp. Razor sharp. Razor sharp. Let's see what we have. Oh my gosh. You all. 3rd reading in a row. That Tower card has come out. I'm really getting super excited for this Saturn and Aquarius thing because there's something happening with what, the way things have always been done, the way that's always been, the way that's always been painful, or the way that's always been unhappy, or the way that we've done things before, on a personal level for you all, absolutely. But there's something going on with us not doing things in the old way anymore. And this being a month where we're starting to see it. Boom. I think, unfamiliar is a little scary for human. Our human body form is very uncomfortable with unfamiliar. It likes familiar. It likes being able to get a lay of the land and know what's coming in, right? So we sometimes associate things like the Tower, surprise, change of landscape, change of condition as something scary, bad. Ooh, 3 cards wanted to come out. 4 of Swords. 10 of Wands, I love it. Queen of Wands. But it's not always negative to have a change in direction, a change in form, a change in parameter, a change in structure. So there's something really big happening here. What do we have? 10 of Cups, yes, and the 3 of Wands. Okay. Big energy for my Aquarian family out there. Wow. Okay. I'm just taking a minute because your energy is really big this month. We're not messing around here, people. This is some big stuff. Okay. You can kind of see these first 3 cards work together. What was I saying? Right before the Tower came out, I said razor sharp clarity. Razor sharp insight. Where something maybe you were like, I'm going to hold off. I'm not going to make that choice right now. I don't have all the information. I'm just going to watch, see what happens. This is I can see what's happening here. And honestly, this feels really empowering to me, emboldening to me. It does not feel like a heaviness or a fear or a lack. It doesn't feel like the end of something. It feels like the beginning of something. And the Tower feels much more like liberation than it does like punishment. Gonna move on. Okay, so there's this huge storm of insight, right? This change in shape, this change in form, this change in information that is so powerful for you. Now here's the thing. You have the freedom to see it, right? You have the freedom to open up to it. Now that opening that comes with Mercury going direct, with this big full moon in a transformational sign for you, with the equinox, with Saturn shifting signs, which does not happen very often, it only happens every 2 or 3 years. You're going to have some incorporation to do there. Mercury is also going to be doing post-shadow until the end of the month, so keep that in mind. These cards are culmination cards, wrap-up cards, integration cards. They're going to ask you to check in with something, to check in with your process, and to rest. So here's the thing. We have all this electrical power just moving through, pumping through your system this month, right? We have so much going on there with that. And then we have these points of check-in. Rest, noticing where you're putting energy. Maybe you don't want to put that energy there anymore. Maybe you want to do something a little different with it. Maybe you're feeling a little different. Maybe you can see now where you want to put that effort, where you want to put that energy, right? And here's the thing, that refining process, that listening process, that resting process is opening the floodgates, my friends, for beautiful life experience, right? Because look at these last 3 cards. No kidding, man. Queen of Wands, 10 of Pentacles, or 10 of Cups, 3 of Wands. Queen of Wands owns her space. She owns her legacy. She's brazen in knowing something is meant for her. Now, you may have this energy coming at you. You may be connecting with some kind of fiery energy that is very passionate, very creative, very loving, but this is also an activation in you. This is an activation of your soul's purpose. This is an activation of you taking your space in the world in the way that feels comfortable and good to you. So that can look like any number of things. It does not always have to look like ostentation. It does not always have to look like quiet. It's going to be very different for each of you, but this is the boldness to take the space that is yours. This is the boldness to say, this is mine. And these 2 right here, your ships are coming in. There's a huge influx of information, energy, vision, connection that is coming in for you as we move into the last part of this month, as we move into Aries season, as we move into that Mars-Saturn conjunction in your sign. It's almost like, you've been feeling the contours of something for the last couple of years, and you keep finding the shapes and the symbols of it and like feeling it. You couldn't quite see it and you're like, and then somebody turns a light on and you're like, whoa, I'm seeing all this information. I'm seeing this way. I'm seeing who I am now without all that heaviness before, without all that work I was doing before, without that cloak I was carrying around. I'm seeing something. I'm seeing a horizon I hadn't seen before. Now, here's the thing I will say, especially working with Tower logic. This is really good for you, right? This is something that communes with your soul and who you are and your happiness and your freedom that really makes sense for you. But here's the thing. It always comes in a slightly different form than our minds have pre-written for us. We have, okay, I want a really kind, loving partner. I want to have beautiful adventures. I want to feel at ease and in flow. I want to be creative, whatever. I want to work in this type of industry, or I want to create this type of thing. We have our little list, right? And we kind of have a way we're thinking about that coming in. And what tends to happen is, the grand mechanism understands those wishes and what you're really asking for at a very deep level. And so they often come in a slightly different package, a slightly different form than you had pre-written in other times. And that's what I'm seeing here with this. There's this element of surprise in that. And that's a very good thing. That's a very liberating thing. So trusting into it a little bit. And that's what I will say with this month. It's like this clarity getting bigger and bigger and more amplified in each week as the month goes on. And there being this illumination of it and this openness of it, but it's really important to not feel you have to embody it all this month. It's really important to know that you can see it, feel it, dip your toes in it, feel through it, gently open your heart to it, and then you can just take your time. Really important. I have some affirmations for you, beautiful Aquarians and your beautiful big hearts, to take with you this March. I will be doing an activation and a conversation about the Saturn in Aquarius transit and what we can get from it in just these first few months of tasting it and connecting with over on my Patreon. So if you're interested in joining me, you can find out more about that over there. But let's do these affirmations. It is easy to find new ways of moving forward in life. I find joy in the little details of each day and watch as they flower into vibrant new pathways. I allow myself to open fully to who I will be next, and I feel safe in this process of transformation. I hope you have a beautiful March, and I hope you really enjoy Saturn coming in to bolster you, to lift you up, to give you that foundation to move you forward. It's going to be beautiful. Such an amazing transit. To have Saturn home in the free-flying energy of Aquarius is going to be a real breath of fresh air, so to speak. You can find me on Instagram at SARAHTAROT, and of course my Patreon, where I do all my extra resources to help you work through the energy we're working with and to find ways to feel empowered and soft and safe within that. You can also find me on my website, SARAHTAROT.com. My one-on-one calendar is rolling open. So as I know my schedule and where I'm going to be and what I'm going to be working with as far as that schedule, I will be opening up spots. Keep an eye out. Keep checking in. I would love to work with you, so I'll leave all of my information in the description box. And of course, the beautiful PinkLune. I've got her beautiful brass rings on. I have this beautiful brass necklace with quartz. So beautiful. I'm really appreciating all her beautiful work. Go check out her Etsy shop in the link below as well. And I will see you all in April for more of this Saturn and Aquarius wildness. There's so much excitement in the air, and I'm really excited to see where it takes us all. Sending you so much love. And if you didn't hear that just now, somebody dropped something in the hallway. There's been all sorts of noises going on in the background of this video. I don't know what's going on, but there's some frazzly frying energy going on for the Aquarians right now. It's some wild, powerful stuff. Sending you so much love.